Hello and welcome, Rangers. I'm Joe. Here with me is my co-host Dan.
Hello and greetings.
And today we've got another Power Ranger video for you guys. Namely, a Tommy Oliver podcast video for you all. This time we're not going to talk about any emotional issues and insecurities of Tommy's. Rather, we're going to talk about a different kind of weakness, but also strength. A weakness that became a strength. Basically, the connection between Tommy and Zordon. Not just emotional, that's actually a source of strength for Tommy. Now, the metaphysics in Power Rangers is something we've been wanting to talk about for so very long, because this is a topic of some measure of passion for us. We all know that in the Green Candle episode, Tommy lost, at least for the moment, the Green Ranger abilities. After he regained the Green Ranger powers, more a liability than a help for the most part, as he'd suffer from massive weakness when using the powers and could only really be morphed for a short period of time before he'd get endless amounts of pain and unmorph, and that he had to get recharged continuously by Zordon. Archetypally, Zordon's a very divine type of character and obviously a father archetype. And Zordon is also, in a way, the Jonathan Kent to Tommy. So with that in mind, the seeds for the White Ranger's divine side and the white light. My question to Dan earlier today was, were they planted during the Green Ranger days when Zordon was lending him energy? Was this already setting Tommy in a way on the path to white? And what does this mean? First off, do you think it actually did set it up?
Yes.
What I mean is also, does it mean that some of this white energy was running into conflict in some way with the green energy?
I think yes, it was running in conflict.
Because the green energy at its core had been once corrupted, while the white light could never be corrupted because it's of the essence of Zordon.
Yes, because even when mind control was off, as you mentioned, it tainted a little, and with Lord Zed coming in,
it strengthened the dark side of the morphing grid.
Yeah. In a way, losing
the Green Ranger abilities
probably also helped Zordon.
On the other hand, I wonder if Zordon knew about this ongoing metaphysical battle, but I also wonder if maybe to an extent Zordon and Zed's continuous battle is what keeps the morphing grid kind of in a state of stasis, as the scales, so to speak, are constant readjusting and scrambling to either side, up and down. When Zordon was transferring energy to the Green Ranger, he'd often be cut off from our dimension, and it also looked like he was in massive amounts of pain. Was Zordon actually ceding in some way his position in the morphing grid to Tommy? What this would mean is that in some measure was Zordon kind of marching to an extent to his grave. Not per se, but like he's transferring it to his surrogate son, who would take his place within the morphing grid. This is not to say Tommy's going to become Zordon. It's that the White Ranger powers will kind of serve as the other half of the morphing grid to an extent, in contrast to Zed.
That is a very interesting question, because it does imply that Zordon is looking for the victory long term, and probably recognizes that Tommy Oliver is essentially the chosen one. He's Luke Skywalker.
Well, that's not what I was thinking, but I guess I was just looking at it metaphysically, as well as the possibility that Zordon is, yes, it might be riskier to put it into the hands of a warrior who might perish in the next battle or the battle after that. But on the other hand, Zordon's an immobile target who can't defend himself, who's been attacked multiple times, and who's liable to be attacked again should, let's say, Ivan Ooze gets loose. Whereas Tommy, well, is a mobile target running around, doing whatever he wants. He's able to fight back, is my point. So is there also an element of strategy to that, I think? I wonder. Because, it would suggest that Zordon's looking at his own handicapped situation and going, this is getting to be too much of a liability. Zordon's position, to some extent, in the morphing grid is one factor that is fascinating. Now, I'm not saying that all the other Rangers derive their power from Tommy per se. I'm just saying that in a way he's taking Zordon's place in the divine spectrum of things. And Zordon is going to slowly but surely lose his position, his place. I guess I would probably compare it to an extent to the kind of metaphysical relationship between Scorpio, his cocoon, and Drakina. Although arguably this is not driving anyone insane, and obviously Tommy gets a lot more out of it than Drakina ever does. But on the other hand, it also cements the love between Zordon and Tommy, because it's obvious Zordon adores Tommy, is trying to keep in the field, so to speak, as long as he could. This is acting almost like a parasite on Zordon, draining him of energy and essence, so that it's just better to just cut off the green powers and just start over with the white powers. That being said, I wonder if maybe it's to an extent attachment to Zordon, now that I think about it. That's why Tommy favors the green powers so much later in his career, trying to find an internal universe explanation. I know it's really just because my member berries, but in universe, I wonder if it has something to do with Tommy wanting to honor honor Zordon, because Zordon gave him so much essence, poured so much energy and, let's be honest, his own soul to an extent, in order to keep the green powers intact. I wonder if it's maybe Tommy trying to honor Zordon's memory, heart, and lessons by using the Green Ranger powers. Maybe using the powers that failed in a way, and that darkness tried to corrupt so completely. And now Tommy's purified completely, maybe using that as a way of honoring his father figure 20 years later.
That's very fascinating.
But this means that white light was not an inevitability, but it was a long time coming in universe. Now, I'm not saying that the green powers would have eventually become white. No, that's impossible, in that the green powers were dragging things down, especially Tommy. And the goal was not to merge or convert a power set, but keep one power intact. Although I think it was easier on Zordon to just create a new power set.
Yes, and in a way, there was an aspect of it that was probably also escalation. Zordon pretty much said he knew at some point Lord Zed was going to come.
Well, yeah, but he also stated that he knew the green powers couldn't last forever.
When it came to creating the morphers for Dino Thunder, you'd think Billy would be able to figure out how that works. But Tommy, perhaps there's an aspect of the bond that allowed him to...
Tommy did show some technological understanding when he hotwired the time travel machine of Goldar and whatnot.
That's fair, and we have had people that have figured out scientific methods.
But on the other hand, Tommy showed mechanical know-how in Turbo. The problem with assuming that it all came from Zordon is that I'd argue it reduces Tommy to a meathead.
No. I'm not saying that. There's a part of it.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I strongly disagree, because to my mind, it's all Tommy, because Tommy was very smart and intelligent. He is a genius. It's just that he didn't believe in himself.
That's a fair point, and
The trouble-
thinking it that way, you're probably right.
Now, I think that what came from Zordon? Faith in Tommy himself. What Zordon bestowed to him most of all was the confidence to go out there and get Kim as his girl, the confidence to actually start using his IQ and having faith in it, and the confidence to be the great leader that he was, and the great Power Ranger, and the great man that he later was. Tommy never stopped loving Zordon in turn, because Zordon was always the father figure he wanted and needed, because Tommy was Zordon's boy. If you enjoyed this video or love it half so much as Tommy and Zordon love each other, don't forget to give a great big hug to that like and subscribe button to stay tuned for our next video. And remember, Rangers, may the power protect you!